Hey everyone, Howard Pinsky here with a very cool Photoshop tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to create a text effect that's similar to the text in Disney's new movie, Frozen. Now I'm not going to be showing you how to create the font because I believe that's copyrighted by Disney, but I can show you how to create text that's similar using layer styles and a texture. Let me show you exactly how this works. This text effect is going to be composed using layer styles and some textures. I'm going to be using two textures which I grabbed from Shutterstock.com. Of course, if you don't have a Shutterstock account, you can probably grab similar free textures from cgtextures.com. Now starting off with the background, this will set the stage for our text and add a little bit of texture as well. I'm going to start by filling in my background with a dark navy blue, and then I'm going to add in one of my textures. Once the texture is in place, to blend it in with the background, setting the blend mode to multiply should dampen it down quite a bit, but I do want to strengthen up the contrast just a little bit. To do that, I'm going to add a brightness and contrast adjustment layer at the bottom of my layers panel, and then clip it to the texture layer by placing my cursor in between the two layers, and then with my Alt or Option key held down, click. Once the adjustment layer has been clipped to the texture, I'm going to decrease the brightness to around -40, and then increase the contrast to around +40. Finally, to finish off the background, I'm going to add a slight highlight. Creating one more new layer, I'm going to switch over to a large, soft, white brush, and then add a single spot around the top right corner of this document. Now obviously this is way too harsh. To blend it in with the background, I can change the blend mode to soft light, and then decrease the opacity until I'm happy. Perfect, now we can start with the text. Like I mentioned, we're not going to be recreating the font that Disney used, as I'm sure it was custom created for the movie, so we're going to be using something a little bit more generic. Grabbing my type tool from the toolbar on the left, the font I'm going to be using will be Trajan Pro, set to bold, and the color will be a lighter blue. The value I'm going to be using for this will be 0C86AE. The color of your text is very important as the texture that we're about to add is going to be interacting it when we change the blend mode. Now once the properties are set, I'm going to type out the word Frozen in the center of this document. Now we can start applying a few layer styles to give our text a bit of shape. The first style that we're going to be adding will be a bevel and emboss. The style of the bevel will be kept at inner bevel, but the technique will be changed to chisel soft. Then setting the direction to down and maxing out the size will give us the shape that we're looking for. Next, down below under shading, to give our text a little bit of shine, change the gloss contour to half round, and then pull it back a bit just a touch by decreasing the altitude to 10 degrees. Finally, change the shadow mode to soft light, and then decrease the opacity to 45%. Next, to add a bit of glow to the inside of the text, we're going to be adding an inner glow. The blend mode can be kept at screen, but decrease the opacity to around 55%, and then increase the size until you see a nice subtle glow on the inside of the text. Around 25 pixels should do. Good, the last layer style we're going to be adding will be an outer glow. The blend mode will be switched over to soft light, the opacity will be increased to 100%, and the color will be set to white. Now down below, crank up the size to create a nice soft glow behind our text. Perfect, our layer styles are now complete, but our text still isn't looking very cold. This is where our second texture comes into play. Let me hop over to the document that contains my second texture, and I'm going to drag it right over to the text document. Now once it's above our text layer, we need to clip it so that it's confined inside the text. Just like when we clipped our adjustment layer to our texture, hold down your Alt or Option key, and then place your cursor in between the two layers, and click. Perfect. Finally, to blend in the texture a little bit better, set the blend mode to hard light. That should give you a nice, vibrant look to your texture. That's looking quite a bit better, but the edges of our text are looking a little bit too straight. To deal with this, we're going to be applying a distortion to a layer mask. So with your Command or Control key held down, click on your type layer's thumbnail to turn it into a selection. And then add a layer mask at the bottom of your layers panel. This will give us a border to apply our filter to. And now that the mask is in place, add the Wave Distortion under the Filter Distort menu. In terms of the settings, I found that using a triangular type gave me the best results, with the generator set to around 22, the max wavelength to around 70, and the max amplitude at 2. Once you press OK, you're going to see that the edges of your type are now cracked and chipped, and because you applied this to a layer mask, you can add even more filters if you want more cracks around the text. Or if you just want to go back to your smooth text, you can disable the layer mask quite easily. And that does it, your own frozen text effect in Photoshop using layer styles and a texture.